The Toronto Raptors season came to a brutal end after a 35-point loss in Game 6 to the 76ers, but let's not forget about what the Raptors accomplished this season. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you why the future is still extremely bright for this Raptors team. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? It's Jacob here, back with Amateur Sports for another Toronto Raptors YouTube video. If you want the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news all throughout the offseason, then you need to be subscribed to Amateur Sports. And this video is once again powered by Betstamp. Betstamp app offers the best in sports bet tracking and odds finding. Betstamp will automatically tell you which of your favorite sports books is offering the best price for that wager you wanted to make, maximizing the value of that bet. Use the link in the description to download the Betstamp app today or sign up online with code RAPS to let them know that I sent you there. But let's get into our video. So we have a full breakdown of this game. I don't really want to go into a lot of it. We have a full post-game show on Amateur clips that you guys can check out here. I'll talk a little bit about what went wrong in this game, but I do want to focus on a lot of the positives from this season for the Raptors. So let's get into the bad stuff first. This game was ugly. The Raptors had done such a good job on offense in the first half. The defense was lacking. And when the offense dried up in the second half, wow, did the Sixers really take over this one. The Raptors had not been susceptible to those cold 5-minute pockets for so much of this season. Like, that was a thing of the past. Like, once we got to January, that was a thing of the past, and it just returned to us today. And we had no way getting around of it. I mean, credit to the 76ers. They played a phenomenal game. I did not expect them to make the adjustments necessary to win this game, but they absolutely did. A lot of their guys were firing on all cylinders. They were knocking down shots from outside. They were doing a good job of freeing up the paint to allow guys like Harden and Maxey to drive. Embiid was dominant. The Sixers did a great job of keeping him on the bench, not losing those non-Embiid minutes. So Embiid was a lot more fresh for the time he was on the court because they could put him on the bench for a little bit longer. And the Raptors, I mean, they really lack a floor spacing in this one. They couldn't knock down any shots. The Sixers in the third quarter just said, look, if you're not going to hit a three, you're not going to score at all. And that is pretty much how that quarter went. Like, it was pretty much for the Sixers, just that. So it is a bad way to end the season, absolutely. But, you know, the Raptors did what only 14 teams have done now in NBA history. They forced a game 6 after being down 3-0, and they had 76ers fans panicking. If you're a 76ers fan and you say you weren't panicking, you knew you were going to win the series at 3-2, you're a liar. You're a liar. Sixers fans were panicking. You saw it in the arena at Wells Fargo in Game 5. Players were panicking. You saw it with Joel Embiid calling out James Harden. It actually kind of worked. And you saw it with Doc Rivers calling out the 0-3 Magic. Like, what was he doing that? But you could feel the tension. You could feel the pressure on that organization. But you know, they got it done. They needed to get it done in Game 6. You know, they needed to get it done there, so they didn't have the Game 7 to worry about. And they got it done in the end. So we're going to give them the credit where credit is due. They deserve to win this series. There's 3 games where they absolutely obliterated the Raptors. And in the 50-50 one, they hit the big shot at the end of the game. So it is what it is as far as that is concerned. The Raptors will lose in the playoffs in 6 games. But this season has been such an absolute success for the Raptors. And the future is so bright for this team. Think about start of the season. We were treating this as a transition year. This was about getting the players in the team better to get ready to go for the playoffs next season. I thought that we had the ability to make the play-in tournament this year. We could have seen what happened there. But with the ability to surprise, move up to a 5th or 6th seed, but also the ability to surprise negatively and move down to outside of the play-in positions, especially if Masai Ujiri decides the deadline that it might be time to tank. Well, that did not happen. The Raptors blew everybody's expectations away. They went from a projected like 33 to 36 wins, somewhere in that area, and ended up winning 48 games, becoming the 5th seed. Do you know how impressive that is for this team to be able to do that in a transition year? They took the 76ers with a former MVP and an MVP hopeful in Joel Embiid to 6 games, especially after being down 3-0 to show that fight. It was special to see from the Raptors. It is just a sour way to end this off. But, like, look at the individuals, how much they have grown. Look at what Siakam has done. He's really solidified the fact that we can trust him as a first option on his team. He solidified that this season. Scottie Barnes won Rookie of the Year. We were just hoping he would be a good draft pick at number 4. He won Rookie of the Year. Gary Trent Jr. went from being a non-defender to one of the better defenders in the NBA, also improving his shot IQ on offense. That was a big thing for me coming into the season. Precious Achiuwa went from a guy who couldn't hit a layup at the start of the season. I mean, looked a little bit like that in the game against the Sixers, albeit Went from a guy who maybe couldn't hit a layup at the start of the season to going at Joel Embiid, going toe-to-toe with Joel Embiid in Game 5. Like, how impressive with that? The future is so bright for Achua. Fred VanVleet became an all-star for the first time. And for guys who are saying the Raptors are better without Fred VanVleet, and, I said it for this series because he's injured. Maybe they're playing better without him. But this was a real good game for Fred VanVleet to play in Game 6 where we had no floor spacing. We lacked the point guard who could find those little pockets of space for our players to operate. We really missed him in Game 6. But we need him on this team. We're not better without him. We're not going to discuss that narrative as much today. We'll get into that in a future video. We are better with Fred VanVleet. Trust me, guys. But a lot of the individual players absolutely got better this season. The team in general. Not only did the individuals get better, but these players grew together. This is exactly what I wanted at the start of the season. Exactly what I wanted. I wanted obviously, win-losses are great. I was more focused on the development of the individuals, but also the way the individuals grow together. We went at the start of the season where lots of people were claiming Siakam and Scottie Barnes, they won't work together. They were an incredible duo for so much this season. They played off each other and they made each other better. Gary Trent Jr. has really fit in with this core well. VanVleet, the general, fits in with this core extremely well. Chua's looking great, immersing himself within the team. Like, this team of such young players growing together. It's so nice to see. But with all of that, we know that there are a lot of things that this team can improve on to get to the next level, because they're not at that next level yet, that real contention level. They want to get to that point. I don't necessarily think they can get to that next season, though they surprised me this season. But if they want to progress and get even better, things need to be done. I'm at the point where I am very happy with the core that is in place here, because Gary Trent has become such a good player that I think you should re-sign him. I think you should commit to this core. I think there's a possibility of maybe moving on from one of the 5 of VanVleet, Trent, Anunoby, Barnes, and Siakam. I think there's a possibility, you're not trading Barnes, but there's a possibility of moving one to find more depth. But I'm confident in keeping all 5 of those guys in the team as our core. But if you want that to be your core, without that real absolute superstar on your team, you have to do a better job of filling out your roster. Boucher was absolutely excellent in this Game 6, and he was great to end the season. Prioritize bringing him back. Consider bringing Thad back on a very cheap contract. I got to say, I've come around a lot on that trade. If I could go back to that Goran Dragic trade, it's the first time I'm saying this. I've been a hater on that trade. I'd go back and make that trade. That trade was absolutely worth it to move down 13 spots. Achua, good off the bench. Other than that, how many guys can we rely on coming off the bench, especially without having any shooters coming off the bench, which we certainly did lack in Game 6. And that's not an overreaction to that Game 6. It is, at the end of the day, just one game where the Raptors were bad and the other team was just really, 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 really good. But generally, we do need to have shooting coming off the bench. I think you should talk about getting maybe a point guard. Depth is needed for this team. We'll talk more about what that depth is going to look like over the course of this offseason. But ultimately, this team needs some more pieces to be successful, especially if you are going to commit to those 5 guys, that small ball starting lineup, which, granted, the experiments worked this season. I'll touch more on that in just a second. But if you want to commit to that 5, you do need to give them better pieces to work with coming off the bench, more consistent scoring coming off the bench. We'd started to get that maybe later on in the season, but I still think it can be better. And Masai Ujiri, Bob Webster, they're absolutely going to be working on that. But this season, we went in with a real experiment here, the positionless game, and I was a doubter. Gotta say, always going to trust my front office with all that they do, but I was a doubter. And honestly, I'm a believer now. I'm an absolute believer now. The playoffs showcase that, it worked. Obviously, we got blown down in 3 games, but I don't think the games 1 and 2 were a true representation of what this team is. I think that the positionless game can work. I still believe a true center on the roster might be good for some situations. Doesn't need to be a really good one, but just somebody on your bench who you can use in situations where it is necessary, where you just feel like you need somebody to get that extra bit of rebounding, some good looks on the interior. But ultimately, the positionless game, the all-forward lineups, those things work. They proved it to the NBA. Those things can work. And my goodness, it got us halfway to the greatest comeback in NBA history. So it worked. There's so much to like about this team. This team is still so young. The only 30-year-old on this team is Thaddeus Young, whose contract is up. We'll see if he is back with the team next season. I'm really not sure what to make of that situation, but I don't want to think about all that right now. Let's appreciate, before we start discussing the offseason, let's appreciate what a season we just witnessed as Raptors fans. Because this team was not supposed to make the playoffs. they were the 5th seed. They took the Sixers to 6 games. And that is truly remarkable. That is a remarkable feat. There's been remarkable feats accomplished by so many of these players. We really do need to appreciate what we accomplished this season. It is so great right now to be a Raptors fan, to be in this position, because there is so much to like about this group of players, and there's so much to expect from them next season. Next season is not going to be that transition year, but we're going to discuss more of that as we get through the offseason with a ton of more content. But for today, you can be a little bit sad about getting eliminated, and I am going to be sad, of course, but find something that's going to help, bring you out of that. Find something that's going to bring you a little bit of joy, and just think about the great things and the great memories you have from this season. And we will be back, and we will be better. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please, in the comments down below, tell me what your favorite memory was over the course of this season. I want to see some positive vibes in the comments, because I am feeling a little bit down about this game. I think the favorite memory off the top of my head was when Siakam dropped a triple-double against the Bucks. It obviously got taken away after the fact, but we thought it was a triple-double at the time. I think that's my favorite memory from this season. But let me know yours in the comments down below as well. That is it for me for today. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please drop a like if you did enjoy. It goes a long way to support the channel. And of course, for the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news all through the offseason, you need to be subscribed to Amateur Sports and help us on a road to 9,000 subs. We're getting really close to 9,000 subs, guys. I'm really excited. There's going to be so much great content coming in the offseason. You do not want to miss out on it. Even though this season is done for the Raptors, I'm still going to be locked in on the Raptors with so many videos. We're still going to give you 3 to 4 Raptors videos a week. So make sure you are still hanging out, still keeping it locked. Last offseason, we put great numbers up, a lot of engagement, and thank you guys so much for such a wonderful season. So grateful to be in this position where I can talk about the Raptors, my favorite team, to thousands of people every time I get in front of the mic. That is just surreal to me. It's surreal to me. I can go to a Raptors game or even be just on the subway in Toronto. People come up and recognize me. I love interacting with you guys. I love meeting you guys. And again, words really cannot describe it, and I don't have enough time to go into all of it. I could go for an hour. How grateful I am for this community. How grateful I am for you guys being viewers, supporting what I do. Honestly, means the world to me. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next time for another video.